Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dr. Broadcasting. I'm here with Dr. George, and today I think we've got some great medical advice, and we'll give out some great medical advice today. So, me and Dr. George want you to live life and
Feel better.
absolutely okay.
Sure.
Dr. George,
Okay.
what are we talking about today?
Tonight, 3 foods for outstanding energy. Okay? And I'd like the people viewing us at this point to decide, well, do I want quick energy and just get a quick boost for a short time? Or do we want to have like a long lasting energy to get us through the day? And a lot of people we know in the afternoon get fatigued in the United States in general. And it's a lot that we do with our diet, so it's important.
So you're asking us if we want to essentially sprint or take the cross country.
So either sprint or be like the electric generator, okay? Or be like the Mustang horse, if you know what I mean.
Oh, good.
So we can do that too. So when it comes to that, let's talk about quick versus long-term energy. That deals a lot with glycemic index. And I'm going to tell people what that means in general. It depends on the type of food that you have, how quickly it hits the bloodstream, okay? So if you eat some food that's high in carbohydrates, simple sugars and things, it's going to hit the bloodstream a lot quicker, and therefore have a high glycemic index value and burns relatively quickly. So it's kind of like lighting a match, kind of. Okay, so you light the match, it burns really bright and quick, and then goes out. Also, people have a chance to bottom out after that as their blood sugar falls after these cells use the energy really quickly. It can absorb quickly. Insulin gets released, goes into the system. Insulin is what helps the sugar go into the cells and fuel our cells. Okay,
and that's
what
where
it does.
quick energy comes from, the sugar aspect of it. 'Cause like you said, it's just so essentially it's the beginning of the match that lights it, and then the rest of the match with wood for the slower burn.
Yeah, well, I'd say for that even probably something different, like maybe lighting a piece of coal for, let's say, the longer lasting type things. Coal burns for a long time. All you kind of got to get it started. Well, our body doesn't know the difference. It can either be a quick match type situation and then lower the blood sugar, or it can be a longer lasting, which I prefer to talk about today. We'll talk about both, okay? But because I think it's fair for both things to talk about that when it comes to the longer burn, as in the coal, I think that's more valuable to people because so many people complain of being tired and fatigued.
Yeah, you want to make it through the day, right?
Yeah, it's just you want to make sure that you don't want something a quick hit and then you get a quick hit. Let's say there's no lack of line at Starbucks, right? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So there is that too. So glycemic index, so people get that praise down. A lot of people already know that, but it's how quickly the sugar gets in your bloodstream and your cells use it. High glycemic index, quick like a match. Low glycemic index, longer lasting, longer burn like charcoal. Okay.
So you're saying my Lucky Charms in the morning is getting me to about 2 o'clock, and then that's when I need that extra dose of coffee. I need that
maybe
snack.
till 11. Maybe
Oh,
till
really?
11
Okay.
o'clock or so. Yeah, you're not hitting lunchtime doing whether you're going to get kind of like, oh man, I need lunch now, you know. So
Exactly.
that's
So you're saying I just need to keep eating more bowls then? Just keep doing it.
Glycemic index gets higher. The higher the glycemic index, the bigger the sugar crash.
Okay. But you're telling me that there's three types of essentially super energy that will keep me moving.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those foods, but first we'll talk a little bit how we digest those, so we have an idea of the importance of what we eat and why. So let's get into the role of digestion here real quick. When it comes to food breakdown, simple carbohydrates, the breakdown starts in the mouth. Okay, so when it comes to simple sugars and things, your salivary glands release saliva, and they start digesting the very simple sugars in the body. Okay, so it starts right in the mouth. Then swallow goes to the stomach. So we'll talk about the stomach at this point. The stomach has a lot of acid in it. The stomach is the main digester in the body. So we want to make sure the enzymes in it, the acids in the stomach are doing really, really well. And the big thing about the stomach is the place where protein is broken down. When it comes to longer lasting charcoal like we're talking about that protein, okay? So we'll get into those 3 foods a little bit later on too. So protein breakdown happens in the stomach. It breaks down the protein into amino acids, small parts. Then it goes into the small intestine. And those amino acids, of course, get absorbed, okay? So another thing we have to talk about also, the gallbladder is really involved in this too, because the types of foods we have carbohydrates, we have proteins, and we have fats, okay? So when it comes to the fat aspect, the gallbladder uses bile, and it goes to the duct, it goes to the stomach area, and small intestine, right at the junction there, it goes to small intestine, secretes the bile, and breaks down the fats, which the stomach starts in on it, but like if you add water to oil, you're going to have that separation. Oil's going to be on top, oil's going to be on bottom. So same thing when it comes to protein. Protein will be dissolved in the stomach really well. The fat's not so much. So you need to break up those fats with the bile in the gallbladder.
And is that before or after the stomach?
Well, the stomach comes first, and then as it exits into the small intestine, we get the bile duct that goes right there, and it releases in the top of the small intestine with some other enzymes to help break food down. And our small intestine, next on our list of things to talk about when it comes to digestion and absorbing that energy that we're going to talk about, is the small intestine is the main absorber. So we have the stomach to break down the processing of the food. And then we have the small intestine, which is the main absorber of the body. And the small intestine is one cell thick. The cells are kind of rectangular, called pili, okay? And then we have the bloodstream right down over here. So you have the cells like so. And in between the junctions of the cells is where the food gets absorbed. Okay. So the longer the cells here, the greater the absorption.
Like a funnel. The bigger the funnel, the more stuff you grab.
Kind of. It's like shag carpeting. It's like shag carpeting, but there are some conditions out there, okay, that are bad, that they kind of cut the shag carpeting on the Gerber, and you get malabsorption. When it comes to energy, you want those cells to help with the small intestine. The small intestine absorbs everything that goes in the bloodstream for a body, all their cell foods. With that also, after it gets absorbed in the small intestine, the food particles go up to the liver, okay, and here's a big part that we're talking about. So the liver is the main bank when it comes to our energy source. So it takes the glucose, everything's kind of transformed in the liver, fats, carbohydrates, and proteins in the glucose, and then it gets concentrated, what we call glycogen. So glycogen is our kind of our bank deposit. It's kind of like the gold in the bank, okay? And it's what helps us run when we're not digesting food and giving us energy all the time. Okay.
So you're charging your batteries at that point.
You want your batteries full. Okay?
I always thought the liver was more of a filter, but you're saying that the liver's actually a battery. So if I need that extra little bit of boost or
or just all your boost.
Oh, really?
It changes your currency. For instance, like the bank, you might be your stomach might be having a currency that your body cannot take care of. All your cells need glucose, and it transforms the fat, the protein, and the carbohydrates, which are already kind of a sugar, simply into sugars, because that's what your cells need. So as we talked about, slow burn, quick burn, glycemic index, glucose, okay, with that, which is sugar, okay. So the insulin that comes from the pancreas, right next door, right by the stomach, it secretes insulin. That's what causes the good currency from the bank of the liver that gets distributed over the body that goes into the cells. So the pancreas is necessary. It releases insulin, and that's what gives our cells the ability to perform and have energy. So once again, if you, for instance, are diabetic and don't have proper insulin, or you have too much going on and takes all the blood out of your sugar out of your blood, then you're going to be fatigued. All right. So the reason why we're talking is about food, we have to understand how digestion is important for us to maintain our energy too. Okay. So at least as we get to the liver and we have the pancreas secreting insulin, we then go after the small intestine, go into the large intestine. The big thing with the large intestine doesn't do any digesting. Okay, so it just kind of holds stuff until we. And it extracts water from the food that you have, because our body really needs water.
So throughout the process, is your body taking water out of everything periodically, or is it just the large intestine does most of it?
Just the large intestine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have kind of a segmented issue of what the body does and which body parts do what the body needs. Okay.
So essentially, what you're saying is when you first bite into something, that's the first trigger of getting sugars and things like that into your body.
Exactly.
The esophagus comes down. You get your the digestion and essentially breaking everything apart in the stomach. Goes really to the liver to pick out what it wants.
Through the small intestine. Yep.
Small intestine does the same thing, and then the large intestine
just absorbs the water. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And then that's it. So when it comes to the foods in general, when it comes to quick energy, let's talk about quick energy at this point. So the 3 great foods that I like for quick energy. And here's the thing about this too. You can have, let's say we have 100 experts on the topic, okay? Me being one of them, we have 99 people.
There's enough nutritionists out there in the world, right?
You bet. Better believe it. And food people that do food and know everything about food, nutritionists and other great doctors on that too. And if you ask 100 of them, you're going to get 99 It's my influence on it. There's a lot of them, oh yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good. There's so many foods out there. So let's say they could have some opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
As in, hey, I think this is better. I think that beats yours. So I'm going to give you my favorites tonight.
I guess you could say that same thing per person as well. You get 1,000 people, and some of them may say, well, this actually is better for me, this is better, that kind of thing.
Well, especially when it comes to food allergies, too. So everybody out there, let's face it, every human out there is different. So you might react to, for some reason, you may not like a certain taste of a food, shy away from it in your diet, and therefore not get the benefit of it.
Okay.
Okay, so
before you give us that, we're just going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. We took a little break. We got a lot of questions on here. Welcome back to Dr. Broadcasting, and Feel Better with Dr. George Gauthier. Dr. George, we essentially got over how the body takes in food. Now you're talking about what we can put in and how we use it.
Yeah, let's fill that gas tank, okay? So let's do the quick burn kind of high energy racing fuel right now, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to get through the day, okay?
But for the
quick
sugar,
burn,
right?
Let's go with the sugar.
Okay.
So what I like when it comes to sugar is the 3 outstanding energy foods for quick things. I enjoy fresh fruit, number 1. So that's number 1. Of the fresh fruit, what examples are there? I enjoy blueberries because they're high in antioxidants. They're great for you, great in energy. I enjoy oranges, are great too. So after you give your blood, you're kind of low in energy, right?
Yeah.
So oranges have a great amount of sugar to them.
So I should pick an orange instead of a cookie next time.
Probably, yeah. It'd be better for you. Got some good fiber in the orange, should be good too. Although gotta like the cookie though. Go with the orange. Okay, yeah. So also like bananas. So bananas, there's something fascinating about bananas when it comes to it. So once again, we have blueberries, okay, we have oranges, and we have bananas. They're all good. So that's our first round of the quick stuff. When it comes to bananas, here's the weird thing about it. To be honest, you could probably eat more than 1 orange, right? You have a taste for it or something. Yeah. And you could eat you're probably plenty of blueberries, right? Okay,
yeah.
So
you get a couple handfuls in there.
Yeah, and you just keep on going, okay?
Yeah, you pop them like you're eating candies most of the time too. Yeah.
So here's the weird thing about bananas. Have you ever, scientific studies show, have you ever had a craving to eat more than 1 banana?
No. It's almost like pancakes. You get a little satiated, and you're like, oh, I can't believe another pancake.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. The neat thing about bananas is they are so dense in micronutrients and everything for your body that, of course, you have sensors in your mouth that go to your brain that, for lack of a better term, tell the brain how nutritious the food is that you're eating. And actually, because it's so nutritious, we've had bananas around for a long time, okay?
Yeah.
So we have one of them, your body says, okay, that's enough. That's good. Okay, I'm satiated, that's good. It really turns off our hunger. So when you get hungry, bananas are great for a quick boost in energy, and it's great for solving hunger. It's kind of like the Snickers of the vegetable or the fruit world. Okay, quite true. Yeah,
and heck, you can still break off a piece and give it to a friend. So I get it,
and that's pretty good. So number 2 of the quick energy that boosting really puts the body not feeling so long, feeling down. I enjoy green tea. Okay. Green tea is fantastic, and guess what? Second component is caffeine, okay? So green tea has a lot of caffeine in it, and so does coffee, but I'm going to go into the differences. We're going to go into a little bit of health here, okay? So when it comes to green tea, large antioxidants in it. Coffee does too, as long as you drink it within the first 20 minutes, but then the antioxidants go way down. Green tea is from, of course, a plant leaf, all right? And they dry the plant leaf, and they tear it up, and put it in a bag and pour water over it. And, of course, the caffeine leaches out, and you drink it, and it's pretty simple. It's like water and tea. When it comes to coffee beans, though, okay, we're going to compare green tea and coffee. Both have caffeine in them. Both will give you a quick energy boost for a while. But coffee, I hate to burst everyone's bubble out there. Okay, here we go. Here it comes. Yeah.
Here it comes. There's a lot of people out there that are already drinking coffee right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. But this is true. Take it from me, doctor. I'll give you the reason why. Okay. So if anyone notices, when you pick the beans, let's say you go down to Brazil or something, and you pick the coffee beans, is the outside of the bean dull or is it shiny?
I think it's shiny.
It's shiny.
Right?
Okay, that's cool. And then when they dry it in the sun, it goes from different colors. Let's say it's a ripe bean, it's a red bean. If they dry it in the sun, it gets dehydrated, turns relatively dark, right? Okay. And is the bean on the outside, is it dull or is it shiny?
Well, it's dull.
Okay, I'll go shiny on that
one.
Shiny?
Okay, well, there you go.
I'll go shiny on that one.
No,
So,
I get mine pre-ground.
Yeah,
So
there you go. That's okay. You got the outside of the bean is shiny. Okay, so anyway, so what you do with the coffee bean to make a coffee? So you got this small, up the stuff, pour the boiling water off of it. Well, the reason why the outside of the coffee bean is shiny, okay, because it has a lot of free fatty acids, okay?
Okay.
So when you pour something that tea does not have, it does not have any fats in it at all, okay? It's plant material, no fats in it. So when you pour the boiling water over the coffee, the free fatty acids get released in the coffee, and of course, coffee smells good, nice aroma and everything.
You get that oily coffee, too.
You do well. Yeah. In general, it's not necessarily oily that we can see with our eye, but it's let's say, microscopic, okay? So when we start drinking our coffee, and I mean, when we drink coffee, we may have a cup or two. And do we have like a cup or two a year?
No, it's daily.
Pretty daily, okay? Yeah. So as we collect over this time these free fatty acids, many Americans don't have a lot of antioxidants in their diet. So the free fatty acids plaque out on our arteries. So I've done plenty of autopsies out there and pathology on human bodies. So when we open these bodies up and take a look at them, you take a look at the major artery here, the aorta, and it goes down the descending aorta and body to the body.
Wait, I don't want to just gloss over that. You said you've opened up coffee drinkers before and seen.
Oh, I'm going to tell you about it right now. So what you get is, if you're drinking coffee on a daily basis, and even like in med school, they'll tell you, hey, they open someone up, they open up the aorta, and they have this plaque. Okay, it's got atherosclerosis on it. So, and of course, it causes the arteries to shrink in size, and that's from the daily consumption of the fatty acids that are in coffee, besides the occasional steak and eating wrong and things like that too. But you can open up someone, you can tell they've been a lifelong coffee drinker.
So you don't even have to tell me about green tea. I'm just going to start drinking water, just hot water in the morning.
Yeah, I've already said. Well, I'd say some of the good stuff. If you do have a lot of antioxidants in your body, okay, so get those blueberries in you, get some great stuff. We'll talk coming up about some of the longer burn energy type things, like the fatty fish soon. So if you have good antioxidants in the body, it attaches to the free fatty acids and makes it more neutral. So people like coffee out there, get your antioxidants. Okay, get your antioxidants in you. You might need the antacids too. Okay, they can be kind of acidic. So, and last but not least, when it comes to quick burst energy, quick boosting, I like brown rice. Brown rice is really good. Okay. So people, when they carbo load, to carbo load or not to carbo load, that is the question. Okay, especially before you do a marathon. Okay, so a lot of people, they'll get that spaghetti dinner in them. Okay, they got protein and the ground beef, and you got the tomato sauce for the acidity in there, and of course then you got the pasta. So pasta is what the body uses when you digest it. So it goes from the simple sugars that is the pasta, once again, to the small intestine. Simple sugars go up to the liver, and it concentrates the simple sugars into glycogen, which go from like sugar to honey, to give you an idea. Okay. So our glycogen stores, we need them nice and high before we go on a run. And that's what we depend on the whole day, as opposed to just taking stuff out of the digestive system.
Because
and
the cells burn and repairing, right?
We need the bank. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got to put money in the bank. And so when it comes to that, brown rice, I find it even more preferable than pasta when it comes to getting ready for a marathon or long-term events. But we do use brown rice also for a quick burst energy. Rice on the planet, the interesting thing about rice is that it's the highest calorie source per weight of food on the planet.
Oh, wow.
So that's why so many, let's say some of the third world nations, fifth world nations and stuff, a lot of people eat rice. I mean, it grows really, really well, but it's also to the people very, very satisfying. Okay. Yeah. So it's pretty cool that rice has that capability.
So you're saying brown rice over white rice?
Yes. White rice, even higher glycemic index, but burns even quicker. So I want just a little bit longer of a burn to it, and it tastes about the same. It does.
Exactly.
So
and then pasta wise, are you saying the whole wheat stuff, or are you saying just the off the shelf noodles?
I would say with that, some people from salmonella, when it comes to the type of wheat that's in it, you're going to get picking on me a little bit, because we'll probably have another show when it comes to the gluten and how really, really bad gluten is for you. So when it comes to spaghetti, out there, that's pretty much, we don't really use whole wheat. We do, there's some, like semolina has whole wheat in it, but then again, it's wheat. All wheat contains gluten, okay? And that's really horrible for the body. Scientific studies show, it's not a myth, that gluten is bad for you. Gluten is absolutely horrible for you. We'll get into that some other show. But so when it comes to that, when it comes to pasta, I will prefer rice over it, because you don't have the gluten issues with the rice. So, and a lot of people are gluten sensitive, and the inflammatory effect of the gluten on the body, causes our cells, as we get kind of allergic to it, and has a bad reaction. Then you got to fight the allergy. How do you feel when you have an allergy?
Oh,
Pretty
terrible.
cruddy, right? Pretty cruddy.
Itchy.
Exactly. Well, itchy, and you're down. You're wound down. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all about energy in this talk, right?
Oh,
So it's all about
absolutely.
energy.
Let's kick it.
So ditch the pasta. Okay. So ditch the pasta. Okay. So let's talk about some long-term energy stuff.
Okay, so we knocked out sugar, the fast stuff.
Okay, we got the quick energy stuff. So the quick energy that we enjoy: fresh fruits, oranges, bananas, blueberries, great for you. Green tea, okay, has the caffeine in there for you without the bad fatty acids. Number 3, brown rice. Okay, so as we recap the quick burn of what people can eat for that. Let's go to long-term energy, okay? Because that's what we're really talking about. People come into the office all day and they say, "Hey, doc, I want to lose weight," is what they tell me. It's like, well, hold it. Now, do you want to lose weight or do you want to lose fat? And they go like, "Oh, doc, I want to keep my lean muscle mass, okay? So I want to lose fat." So now we talked about the quick stuff. Now let's talk the long-term the good stuff. Let's talk about how we can, when it talks about like losing weight, it's like, okay, I want to keep my lean protein. Let's talk about long-term energy, okay? So the first one, I like nuts in general, okay? So not crazy people, but nuts in general. So anything from cashews, almonds, especially almonds are great for you, okay? So we buy them at the store, and they can process them. And when they process them, they grind them up and everything. It comes like a paste. Okay. I like peanut butter.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like peanuts because they're legumes. A lot of people are allergic to it. Like nut allergies out there. A lot of them, right? Yeah. That's why I like almonds, cashews mainly, and some other, Brazil nuts, things like that.
And you're not worried about the carbs either for some of those,
right?
Especially
correct.
Almonds.
They have great fats to them. They got these fats that are fantastic for you. So the first thing we're going to call is a group of foods that's great for long-term energy. We're going to call them nut butters, okay? So they're ground up nuts and stuff. They're concentrated. They're great for you. You can put them on different things.
Cashew,
butter,
almond butter, Nutella.
Yeah. No, that's got too much sugar. But things with that. So nut butters, okay? Fantastic for long-term energy, okay? Number 1, the oils in it, the fats that are in it. It's hard to digest, okay? Once again, when you talk about the digestive system, it's got to get to the stomach, through the stomach, small intestine. You have to have a working gallbladder, and the system for that to get those fats out of the nut butter, okay, and then into your system, and it takes a while to break down, which is what gives you that long-term energy. Okay. It takes a while for that to happen.
So slow burn as in like a candle versus the match.
Right.
If sugars are match, the fats are candle because it takes longer.
It's a longer burn. It's a longer burn. We can say charcoal too. It could be longer, hotter. Well, but the candle, same thing. It's not quick. So now we're getting into the long-term things. Okay. So first one, nut butters. And there was some confusion earlier as we had to talk backstage a little bit. We're talking about that's not the cookies that are Nutter butters. Okay, that's not it. Okay, it's something completely different. Okay, so number 2, let's talk about fatty fish.
Okay.
So usually they're cold water fish. Okay, fish. Even though they're cold-blooded, if you're in cold water, you don't want the fish to freeze. Yeah. So what's the fish going to do? It's going to make fat as an insulator. Okay, and we know the Eskimo tribes up there, they didn't have heart disease. They did a whole bunch of studies on it. And they're eating whale blubber, and they're doing A-OK, and they're changing the fats to other processes in the body, such as carbohydrates like ketones, which are a type of food that our body can use, our brain can use, and it helps stop Alzheimer's. But make a long story short, let's talk about fatty fish. So which fatty fish should we buy when we're in the grocery store? Number 1, salmon, okay? And if you're from, it could be tomato, so it could be salmon, okay? So
and then with or without skin?
I would cook it with, but I wouldn't eat the skin. I'd take it off, and there's a great layer underneath the skin that's kind of gray, that's kind of tasty in there. Besides, you get to the pink flesh of the salmon. So that's high in micronutrients and high in essential fatty acids for the body, okay, which is wonderful. Your cells need it. It's great for helping people out when it comes to that energy we're talking about.
So salmon, the fatty one.
Salmon's the one.
What's next if I can't find it?
Tuna. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Tuna is also mainly a cold water fish, but also a high burst energy fish when it's in the ocean. They can swim forever. Okay, so they got great mitochondria in their cells, and when we take that food in, we have the same properties of what the animal does too. So if you eat beef, high in iron. Okay, so we eat these tuna also different types of globulins and iron in it too. So it's wonderful for long-term energy. It's great. So a lot of weight into that. So lean and mean. Keep the fats kind of low. Keep the protein high. And they have energy all day long. That's what we want.
Yeah. Okay? So is that why after you've eaten some sushi and things like that, you get that great burst? And I'm sure the white rice is the giant burst.
That's there too.
and then the being able to talk and go see a movie and still talk about it is probably the two.
Yeah, great combo. And everybody complains. I think it's a myth too. If you go out for Chinese food, you're hungry right away. Okay, you eat it 2 hours later. Could be because of the rice. Once again, quick burn. Okay, so all of a sudden, okay, I'm done with burning that. Hey, I'm hungry again. Let's keep the blood sugars high in the body. Okay.
And you're saying the fish will kind of
fish counteracts. Yeah, the protein in the fish is great. Myself, I just if you enjoy sushi, don't even have to have the white rice with it in general. Okay, you just get the sashimi. Hard to say. Sashimi or
sashimi.
Sashimi.
Here we go.
Sashimi, there you go. That's hard to say. And so that's with the fatty fish. So number 1, long term, nut butters. Number 2, fatty fish. Number 3, eggs. Okay. With that, eggs is great, especially for people working out. Gives you long-term energy. And here's the weird thing. The great thing about eggs. One of the few food sources out there that's called a complete protein. Okay. Our body needs 23 amino acids. We call essential amino acids, and there's only a couple foods out there that contain all 23 of the essential amino acids. So eggs is one of them. Okay, so chicken eggs, duck eggs,
Now, is the long time debate? As long as I've been alive, it's been white or the yolk. Which one's better? I keep hearing back and forth. I keep hearing don't trust that white yolk over there.
Legal. Yeah. I'd say the egg white doesn't really contain much of the cholesterol.
Okay.
Over 90% of the cholesterol is in the yellow part of the egg. So egg white's great for you. It cuts out the cholesterol. Here's the bad thing, okay? So no matter what foods you take into your body, depending a little bit on your genetic makeup, okay, that your cells, every cell in your body needs cholesterol to build the cell in general, the membranes and things. It's a necessary component. So if you don't get it in your diet, what do you think's going to happen? Your body's going to manufacture it, okay? Yeah. So we do want to keep cholesterol down and watch what we eat. I'm very pro.
We still need it.
Yeah, we still need it. But if you don't get it, your body's going to make it.
And you're just going to grab from places that shouldn't
just synthesize
be grabbing.
Yeah, just synthesize it, and so you don't necessarily have to get food. Okay. So right now there's been a myth that seems every 7 years that the medical community changes its mind. Are eggs good for you? Eggs bad for you? Okay. So currently I think eggs are in. Okay. Eggs are that 7-year period right now, and I would go even long term in that, stating that really eggs in general do the benefits of the 23 amino acids in it. I think that's great for you. Okay.
So that hit all 3 of them right there?
Yeah, that's all 3.
So we've got our sugars, or I guess our carbohydrates, our quick burns.
Yep.
And we've got our fats, which are almost like a medium burn, but still longer.
Yep.
And then for those of you out there that are trying to build lean muscle instead of the fats or anything, you used to have your proteins.
Yeah.
So is there anything else we missed out of there? Are there micronutrients that I might be able to take and it just blows up for me? Or?
Well, there are certain amino acids like L-creatine. You've probably seen in some of the energy drinks or some of the things that we take when it comes to going to the gym and building muscle mass and giving us energy. So L-creatine.
So how does it last 5 hours? Is it enough sugar in there to last that long?
I say caffeine. The caffeine, there's so much caffeine in there. Okay. Gotcha. There's other substitutes too. Not substitutes, but other more powerful things. Guarana is another one. It's a fruit from South America that makes caffeine look silly. Okay, there's other stuff out there too that they put in these energy drinks. We'll also have another show on energy drinks in general, and for lack of a better term, how detrimental they are for you. So we'd rather have the folks out there do something healthy for their body, okay, versus something that's very detrimental. You're going to find out in about 3 to 5 years, as the neurologists out there and other scientific doctors that are doing research on what these drinks are doing to our body. We're going to have we had a jihad kind of on when it comes to cigarettes. Okay, it's in the 60s. Oh, it's okay. 70s okay. 80s not okay. Yeah. Same thing when it comes to caffeine. We're going to find out because of what it does to the brain, the degradation of the brain, and how it amps up the nervous system, drains our adrenals, which gives us energy throughout the day. That probably in 3 to 5 years there'll probably be a little more on caffeine like there was on nicotine.
Oh, really?
Okay. So
I've heard that caffeine is so really powerful that if we just took pure caffeine and put it on our skin, it would almost act like a poison or an irritant.
In a way, it's quite true. Yeah, quite true. Especially concentrated caffeine can kill you. Okay, it can kill you if you have enough on. And the skin, of course, acts. A lot of people may not know this, but the skin acts just almost exactly like a sponge. So we do put on our skin is absorbed thoroughly. So they say that's a good thing too, quite true. Yeah, and there's some pretty toxic stuff we went into out here.
Exactly.
So especially when people say, well, pregnant women don't use this chemical, this thing. We won't get into specifics, but there's a lot of them out there that not women and environmental factors.
Wow.
So I'd like to add a quick bonus thing too, real quick. So we talked about, of course, the 3 outstanding quick energy foods and the 3 outstanding slow burn foods that give you energy throughout the day. Okay, so we got those covered pretty well. Now I'm going to give you a little analogy. So to help with energy, that bonus thing here is that water is incredibly important to our diet. So people, whether you have food on you or not, okay, so these foods we're talking about, in a pinch, drink more water. Okay? 9 out of 10 Americans are dehydrated. Okay, so how much water should we have per day? If a person drinks, let's say 100 pounds.
Okay.
Number, you should drink half your body weight in ounces of water per day.
Well, heck, I could do that, man.
That's not too bad. Yeah, so it's 50 ounces, right? Okay, so a little bit more than a quart, like a quart and a half, okay? So not too bad for 100 pounds. 200 pounds? Well, that's almost 3 quarts, okay? But I get those down within probably up to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I wake up, get that water early in the morning, change your energy throughout the day. Some people, oh, doc, water's not food. Well, try living without it, okay? Water's made of water. You gotta be super nutritious for you.
Not going to get too long.
But if you can imagine, if your arteries, if you're dehydrated, the blood thickens. It can't deliver its payload, okay? So your body can't deliver its payload. The red blood cells deliver oxygen. We need oxygen too, okay? So it comes with water. As a food, okay, water is a food source here. It's critical that we get our water, that you don't even have to have food. If you drink water, you'll be doing good. Okay.
Okay.
How long can we go without food? So about let's say about a month. Okay. When it comes to being without water, about a week. So we depend more on the water. So it opens up those expressways. Okay. So it unclogs the expressways.
So almost like to take my engineer hat and put it on. You want a lubricant to be fatty and oily and things like that, but really with the body, it's water that
carries
helps
us.
The
mainly water, right?
I mean, because our brain's made out of it for the most part.
Yes, exactly.
And then we have to have enough for everything that we're putting in to travel along, like a stream.
Well, like a river, exactly. Yeah. So our food could be our barges, okay, that need to make the deliveries along the river, and then to trucks that go out off streams, different streams going this way. If you don't have any water in the river, in the streams, where you go, and everything's trapped, right? So you can't get your energy. So a lot of research.
Moving river, you're not going to get much delivery.
So water's fantastic. So that's our bonus for this evening. Our bonus question.
So really what we're going to go with, we've got a couple questions already coming in, Dr. George. I really appreciate, first off, giving us those tips on energy. And because I get to sit in a room with you every week, I get the first question as well. And I'm kind of going to take it from Good Charlotte, and she says, what about the keto diet? Where does that fit in with all of these energies? Okay,
I love it. Number one, it's just a healthy diet for the body. What I like about the keto diet is high in vegetables and okay in the meat area. Okay, the way, because of the vegetables that are in it and the meat that are in it too, it's what your body has to work with. What you put in your body, what you put in the temple, is what your body has to work with. Okay. So you're not putting the garbage, not a lot of carbohydrates that are easily digested, and your body will burn the carbohydrates first. Okay. The keto diet, because of things are more complicated, for the body to digest, that our body is opposed to running on glucose that goes to glycogen, it switches over in the cells and it burns ketones. Ketones are more of a fatty type issue, that we extract from our food.
You said that's also stored in the liver as well.
It is. It's processed to store in the liver and released in the liver too. So as opposed to burning the glucose and the glycogen, we're now burning ketones, which is a cleaner fuel. So if you imagine like glucose, the body normally runs on that, So let's say we'll go back to the times of filtered and unfiltered gasoline. So we'll go leaded. In this case, and we had older vehicles, runs on leaded, but you have pollution with leaded, right? When it comes to ketones, it's like running on unleaded.
So moonshine versus
moonshine versus leaded. Yeah. Okay. So that's why I like the keto ketone diet, and people get the chance to everything is good for you.
No, that's great. So I've got a couple of them in here. Let's go. Tim Chitwood, straight out, straightforward. Is sugar good for you?
We need it. We need it.
Okay.
It's like it'd be very, very difficult to go without it.
Complex or otherwise.
Complex or otherwise,
good,
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah,
So,
I would say.
So then to take it back to that keto side, you said it's a cleaner food.
It is.
Not have
it is.
So.
But here's the thing: when you take food in the body, your liver is going to digest all food.
Oh, really?
So it gets transformed there. And so everything is digested in your fats, carbohydrates, proteins, all get digested, go through the blood system, then your liver processes, like the manufacturing plant. It's not only a filter, it's your manufacturing plant and it's your bank, okay, when it comes to your glycogen stores, okay? So it keeps us going.
So we're trying to live life and feel better, and you can't live life too much with no sugar, right?
That's everything
crazy.
in moderation out there, okay? Everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
So,
let's see here. I've got Melinda Fountain says, are there any foods that will help with hot flashes as well?
Okay. I'd say yes, they're out there. What we do when someone has hot flashes, Linda, so if you've been in one of our courses on menopause and stuff that we do, menopause, I'll try to keep this brief. Some women go through menopause, and it's a breeze, okay? And other women hate them, okay, because it's a pain to go through menopause. It's like going through super PMS, okay? There's some other people. It's a parabola. So people go through menopause and have hot flashes, and it's horrible. And night sweats, fatigue, I can go on, and people feel miserable when they go through menopause. So, are there foods? Yes, I like black cohosh is good, ashwagandha is good, marshmallow root is good, okay, for all those things. But I'm going to give you another clue, all right? And not a lot of people know this. There's a secondary pathway in your body that helps prevent the hot flashes, and that's dealing with your adrenal glands. So if you're getting hot flashes and you're having a hard time through menopause, your doctors out there, or call me, get in touch with my clinic here, that you have a problem with your adrenal glands on top of your kidneys, okay? There's a secondary pathway that helps prevent hot flashes, as opposed to taking something, like I just mentioned in the 3 products there, that temporarily cover up the symptoms. Get the problem fixed. That's what functional medicine's about, okay? So if you do have that issue, yes, there are foods you can take, but actually, let's fix the problem as opposed to mask it, okay?
Absolutely. Tomb G, you said it. I always learn stuff when I'm watching Dr. G, too. And because he gave that great question, can I eat pancakes to carbo load? You said we talked about.
Technically, yeah. Why not? I have people. When it comes to pancakes, I will kind of comment that once again it's more simple carbohydrate in general. So people before 5-10K. Get those pancakes in here. You want to get some bacon and sausage with that too, okay?
Blueberry.
Blueberries in there, so blueberry pancakes. Apples, great too. Apples high in iron, so apple pancakes, banana pancakes. But yeah, to carbo load, yes. Understanding that it may be not good as other things. All right. So, but yes, you can. For the 5 and 10K runners out there, okay. Good.
Absolutely. And if you guys in chat haven't already, go ahead and click follow. And remember, we start every Wednesday at 7 Central. Just to give you guys a heads up over there. So here is, let's see if we can get a new one. So we talked about what foods are good for you, but what we didn't talk about, Dr. G, is rhythm. So I have, let's see here, I think it's Charlie. Charlie says his wife is trying to get him into intermittent fasting.
Wonderful.
So now do I carbo load and then not eat for 3 days and then have a couple apples and do the same thing? Like what?
That could be kind of rough on your body. So when it comes to when and what you eat, here's a big kind of news flash on this. I love giving gee whiz factors on this. So number 1, energy expenditure that the body has is digestion. Okay, a lot of people know it. They think, I'm going to work. I'm running around. I'm in the gym.
So your metabolism.
Right. So right now, digesting food is the number 1 expenditure energy in your body.
Wow.
So scientists have gotten together and said, well, what happens if you don't use your digestive system as much? There's time to turn it off. So there are plenty of what we call intermittent fasting. I think it's great for losing weight also. It's wonderful. Part of the ketogenic type things, fantastic using glycogen, and started using ketones and fats to burn his energy. It's great stuff. That's part of that intermittent fasting also. So it's a double win, okay, on that. So when it comes to intermittent fasting, people eat within a 6 to 8 hour period of time and then have nothing. I mean, you grab liquid, grab that water, okay? Water's great for you, and even lemon water even better than water. So no sugar in it, just get that lemon in there. It's great for alkalizing the body. So people eat in the 6 to 8 hour range, and they don't eat anything else because it turns off your body's digestion. When you turn that off, all of a sudden you're saving energy.
Okay.
So it's a great question. Great question. So
Yes.
I like intermittent fasting.
So I guess with that, we all try to get at least 8 hours of sleep a day. Are you saying that I should probably stop eating 12 hours before breakfast? If I eat breakfast at 6, I stop eating at 6 p.m.?
A lot of people, you could stop eating at 6 p.m. and then therefore get your, imagine 16 hours after that, get the 12 hours at 6 a.m. and then you can eat at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
If you stop eating at 6 p.m. With that, they're finding, this shakes the medical model mold, here a little bit, is that I think the company that gave us that breakfast is the most important meal in the morning was probably Kellogg's. Okay, so at least that's what we're finding. Surprise. Okay, so it's terrible, right? I mean, that's kind of shocking out there. It's like here we have a cereal company saying, "Hey, breakfast is the most important meal of the day."
Of course.
And therefore, the term break fast. You're fasting when you sleep. So that's where we get the word breakfast from, is breaking your fast. Okay, what you're not eating. A lot of people are finding out, not grabbing breakfast in the morning and getting more towards the lunchtime, 10 or 11 o'clock, and starting there, getting those 16 hours in, of not eating. And they're finding they're having more abundant energy, they're losing weight, and they're feeling better. So,
well, and I know the boss lady is gonna yell at me a little bit, but most of the time she usually sends me out with breakfast. But because of a broadcast schedule, I'm eating breakfast and lunch at the same time.
Okay.
So I am getting to that. Now I don't eat as much lunch because I've got I'm essentially eating 2 meals at once. Yeah. But I've heard it's almost like you should ramp up your meals to where dinner or supper or whatever part of the planet you live on, the last meal of the day should be the biggest.
Quite true.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point. I'm of a little bit of reverse psychology. I like getting my calories or kind of things up front because in my job I'm very dynamic and it's like weightlifting all day. Okay, so I like getting my energy, but I get it in that 6 to 8 hour time range is great. So it's a good thing.
But you're saying even if you push off breakfast for later on, you should always start the morning. Essentially, your breakfast should be lemon water. To get that started?
I would probably go with, once again, with long-term energy. Like we talked about eggs in the morning. Great for you, okay? Sometimes, fish may be hard to swallow in the morning, but there you go. Got that too. So fatty fish, and once again, and the nut butters, great for you too. Some people enjoy yogurt.
So you're saying a cashew and tuna omelette is the best thing to eat in the I wouldn't say the tastiest thing, but maybe for your body.
Maybe salmon.
A salmon omelet would be nice.
Omelet could be kind of cool.
Yeah,
that could work out pretty good.
Okay, I could see that.
But when it comes to breakfast, I like to throw in here too that it's important to get a healthy one. Okay, so when it comes to that, as opposed to skipping it, which you could, and you just have it delayed, but no matter what you put in your mouth, let's have it healthy.
Oh, absolutely, and moderation.
Yeah, moderation.
Moderation. Let's tell you what. Let's do last question, and you get it, Cookie Killer. Going back to fish, because of course we want our fish omelet, our fish and cheddar. Exactly. So he says, so you want only ocean fish. So would a tilapia kind of go in there, or is it too low? Because you can get a big bag of tilapia just like you can a big bag of salmon.
You're going to get me started on this.
Oh, really? Okay. Cichlids are off the game? Oh, man.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay, then you know what? That's a perfect last question for us.
This real quick. Okay, this is going to be news for everybody out there. I want you to make sure that the fish we want you to catch, number one, we want online caught. We don't want farmed fish. Okay, I'll get into that in a little bit later. We like free line caught, ocean wild caught fish. Okay. And the deeper the fish, the better it's for you. So salmon run deep, tuna run deep, okay. And tilapia, they are bottom feeders in fresh water. Okay, there's that going on for them. a lot of the foods, we have a lot of people on this planet. Okay, so we have 7.2 billion people and a lot of hungry people out there. Okay, so right now when it comes to our food production of what we make out there and what we eat, what we choose to eat, I like people eating organic, number one. Sustainable foods, number two. Okay, so number three, as wild, open range as possible. All right, that's highly important. So a lot of the fish, I'll go on technical matters, come from overseas, and they're farm raised. And they'll say on the bag if they're farm raised or not. Some have been frozen, okay? But you think the general population thinks if it's frozen fish, they caught the fish, they froze it, and it comes to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Untrue.
Absolutely not.
Not true. So actually, the average of the fresh frozen fish out there is thawed and frozen 8 times before it gets to your grocery store.
Wow.
So that's a lot of thawing, freezing. Of course, the proteins, Ooh is right.
Yeah.
The proteins in it are not that great. Here's another thing. When you eat, let's say, wild-caught fish, I have like some great salmon, okay, those wild-caught, fantastic, versus farm-raised. Just like a tomato raised out of your garden versus one that may have been out of a hothouse, okay, even if it's organic or not. The taste is incredibly different, okay? Your body can taste it. It looks the same. Hey, I know this is tilapia. It looks like tilapia, okay? But the quality of the fish that comes in from overseas and what they feed the fish from overseas, I would not like to go into.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'll have you do some research out there, audience in general. See what they're feeding the fish overseas that are farm raised. Then you will stop buying them. Okay, true, the fish digests what it eats, and it makes its muscle out of it, but it's not quality muscle.
Yeah, essentially what they're doing out there is they're digging a puddle, putting as many fish in there that could survive long enough to actually do it, and they're eating each other, they're eating anything that falls in there.
For instance, one of the major components, we'll just say, in a certain Asian country, is they take excrement from the other animals, pig farms in general, okay, and they use that as food for the bottom feeders. But the bottom feeders don't really care, okay? It's like, hey, tasty.
That's what they eat anyway.
Right, kind of, sort of. Yeah. This is more concentrated. This is the only thing they get a chance to eat, okay? Yeah. So the quality of the fish coming out of it, we have to be careful of, okay? Absolutely. So that's why I like, line caught, stuff from the ocean. And for instance, a trout are freshwater too. There's freshwater trout. Wonderful for you, okay? Not as fatty as some of the other fish that are in cold water. So you're saying, hey, freshwater fish versus saltwater. It's not really truly that. It's like the colder the environment the fish is in, the more fat it's going to have in its muscle, and therefore the better for you.
Perfect. Well, just a recap for everything that we talked today, to take it back. And if at any point you missed any of the broadcast, you can always find it right here on Dr. Broadcasting. And then we are with Dr. George every Wednesday at 7. So mark your calendars, set a timer, say, hey, Google, this is what we got to do today. Do all of that. I'm sure I just lit it off over at my house. When I gave Google the wake up call, but so the recap, we talked about the 3 ways, or essentially we got the 3 foods that will give us the best energy, and the first one is sugars, but not the sugars that we know we're going to eat a bunch of marshmallows or
carbohydrates, not the simple.
Exactly. So you're saying what fruits, and what fruits were they again?
We love blueberry is great for you. Banana is great for you. Apple's good for you. Okay, and then oranges.
Perfect. Yeah, and then that's the fast stuff, which also includes caffeine, and we want green tea over coffee. Yeah. What about a nice oolong?
I prefer green tea, but oolong's good too. Oolong's got great caffeine to it.
Okay.
I'm a big tea drinker in general. Any tea gang. So even herbal, if you want to get off the caffeine, herbal's great, but you're not going to get the energy boost. Therefore, the water content.
Drinking water is definitely in this whole thing. And the next one, number 2, we got our fats, and you said nuts are the best way to go for that.
It's I'd say out of all of them, nuts are great. I'd say the fatty fish is great too. Okay. Yep. And eggs are great. So they're pretty even in that race. So I think those are the 3 best.
Okay, and then proteins in that same kind of vein. So again, thanks everybody for watching. We definitely love having you guys here. I love the response in here. They're wonderful that we're getting some great questions coming in. And make sure you save your questions. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We are Dr. to the Stars. DR to the stars. You'll be able to ask questions actually through the week to Dr. George, and then that way we'll have everything going that way. And then Dr. George, you know what we're talking about next week?
As a matter of fact, it might be a little bit of a surprise. But
Okay.
I will mention to people out there to subscribe, because when you do subscribe, you get all the information right up front real quick.
Absolutely.
So Amazon Prime members, okay, great. Just subscribe to us there too. That's great. We could put you to the top of the class, kind of, okay? So now we're even with everybody, but good to subscribe, okay? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you. We want you definitely to live life and feel better.